Hi, everybody.
Wow.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Pile It On.
Mm-hmm.
We got different mic stands a little bit, so I'm kind of crouching.
If you're watching this, and a reminder to those that don't watch it, you can watch this.
You can watch it, and to those who don't listen, you can listen. You've got the volume sounding okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is okay.
Yeah.
I think it'll be all right. Welcome to Pile It On. This is a very special episode that we have for you guys because we're switching things up.
How special is it?
So what am I supposed to say in response?
I don't know.
Real special.
Yeah. Great.
All right.
Delivered.
Perfect.
Thanks to the USPS service.
So we our boys in blue, some of the girls too, but we've been doing a podcast all quarantine, on and off, where we talk about reality shows that we've been watching, which we're still going to do a little bit. We're going to let you know all the fun shenanigans these kids are up to.
They
I'm talking
can't
about
stop being real.
Bennett is the best still. He's a warrior in the reality TV.
Truly a soft little baby boy warrior.
He's a little miniature John Green.
Yeah, he really is. Once I've noticed that I can't not see it every time he talks.
Yeah. He's a mix of John Green and a guy I knew from high school, which is pretty much
fun.
That's a good mix.
Yeah, that sounds great. He sounds lovely.
Well, we asked you guys on an Instagram story to email us at the pilotonpodcast@gmail.com email address. Any kind of questions, tales, advice, things, stories that you might have, and we're gonna go through and read.
Well, why did we do this?
Because I think great question.
Just to give some context, this podcast has been very fun, but it's very loose. It's like your favorite cast member from Coyote Ugly.
Yeah.
Fun and loose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a movie that we should watch. But that said, we wanted to give it a little bit more depth or structure or substance. And so we thought, we're perfect human beings, and the only way that we can give back right now is bestowing our perfect experiences in the form of advice for those that need and want and desire to be as perfect as we are.
Yeah, we watch a lot of reality TV, and then we'll be like, we know best. We know.
Like everyone else. That's the whole reason you watch reality television, is that it provides you some perspective to realize how perfect you are and how much you could coach those strangers into a perfect scenario.
Yes. So we were like, what if we did that to our actual audience?
And to you guys who didn't ask for it and don't need it.
And we're not professionals, and of course don't take any of this advice unless it resonates with you and you like it. But you guys emailed and you said very sweet things.
That's nice. I haven't looked at any of them yet.
Yeah, so that's kind of also how we're gonna try doing it next week. Grace will go through the which I imagine there'll be way more submissions, but please, give us the details, give us the stories that are fun to read as well as to respond to. I found a few that we're gonna dive into. Some are short, some are a little bit longer, and then next week Grace will choose and we'll go from there. Grace has not read any of these.
I've not read any of these. I will be hearing them for the first time. I will be advising at first sight, basically.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to email us, pilotonpodcast@gmail.com. I recommend, because I'm not the most voracious reader, that you title your email something eye-catching and straight to the point.
They're already doing.
Okay, great.
A lot of them are doing it. And
wonderful.
Also, I don't know how you feel about this, but I wasn't going to mention people's names.
No. Absolutely not.
Great. And so you don't have to worry about that. Anonymity.
Yeah. Anonymity.
Well, how about we'll do a fun thing. We'll change the name of the people to something. So this will be Goobercorn is the first person.
Okay. So we're going to start with advice, and then we'll talk about TV at the end?
Or do you want to talk about TV now?
No, we can talk about TV later. We'll warm up with advice. It might not always be this way, but yeah, let's do it. You're prepped and ready.
I know. I got excited. You drunk?
I've been having too much of this water.
You all jammed
I'm excited.
up.
I'm excited to give advice.
I mean, we could talk about Bennett a little bit, but
we could talk about talking about it.
That's basically it. Okay, let's dive in. We'll intersplice it. How about we try to relate it as we go? All right.
Yeah.
Dear Grace and Elliot, this is what Goobercorn says. Goobercorn says, Dear Grace and Elliot, I have a bit of an odd, somewhat minor issue. I'm really sure I'm not really sure what to think about or how to tackle.
Okay.
Since the pandemic started, my husband and I have began to befriend some of our neighbors.
Oh, wow. That's very dangerous territory already. And how bold of you.
We often spend our nights out on the lawn, drinking and socializing together.
Lovely.
It's been really great for our mental health. Lovely. However, my husband has become close with one of the neighbors in particular.
Oh,
They are both straight males.
Okay.
There's nothing fishy going on. They've just become really great friends.
Okay.
But now it has become a daily thing of them hanging out. They both have relatively flexible work schedules, as do I. So they're able to go and play mini golf or something in the middle of the day if they so choose. If they're not out, they often spend minimally an hour, if not several more, a day together outside on the deck chatting and smoking.
This is his husband and the neighbors.
And the neighbor. They're
or this
new
just
best
the
friends.
neighbors. Okay.
Now, I'm really happy for my husband. He doesn't have a ton of friends.
I don't know if that's true.
He doesn't have a ton of friends, and the ones he does have aren't the nicest to him.
Okay.
I can see that he is so excited to have a friend who genuinely likes him. He will sometimes text him throughout the day, and his face will light up.
Aww.
This is like the sweetest thing.
Okay, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
All that being said, I want to kill. No, he doesn't say it.
Oh.
All that being said, I guess it feels a bit weird for me. Like, is it normal to be married in your 30s and hang out with your best friend every day? I guess you could say I'm starting to feel ignored. I'll sometimes try to insert myself and hang out with them, but I just feel like the third wheel, so I leave them be.
Aw.
We're normally great at communicating our feelings to each other, but I feel guilty/conflicted about this one because, as I said, he has never had a ton of friends, so I can see that he's excited, and I don't want to take that away from him. Maybe I'm overthinking this as an issue. Any thoughts would be appreciated. I've been fans of you both for an incredibly long time. Hope you're both staying sane in this crazy time. Best of luck in your future Scrabble games. That's funny you mentioned that, Goobercorn. Thanks so much for your time, Goobercorn.
Very sweet.
Wonderful, right?
Thank you for that email.
Isn't that lovely?
What a lovely and also a non-problem problem.
Yeah.
That's my first reaction. My first reaction is this is incredibly sweet because you're jealous. And I get it 100% because we've been living in a pandemic where if you like your significant other, you've learned to really like your significant other and borderline codepend on your significant other physically and emotionally.
You want to be specific, Grace?
I don't know. Maybe that's happening to people out there. I don't know.
If
Just
you think
guessing.
it is, I think it is.
But that said, there's probably... you've conditioned yourself to be this person's person and vice versa. And so when your person starts hanging out with other people, your person gets a little sad and lonely and feeling left out. When if this were normal world conditions, this would probably be way easier to swallow. A situation that would purely be good for your husband to go make friends that aren't pieces of shit, that are interesting, and to let him have that for him.
Yeah.
But because he's yours and you're in the pandemic. And
What about me?
Yeah, what about me?
So sweet. It's
Also, I'm assuming if you're saying that your husband doesn't have many friends, my assumption is that you do.
I mean, it sounds like definitely a comparative thing. I think in my experience, guys tend to have fewer friends than girls do. You have a few friends.
I have a very small group of friends, but I also think that I don't know that that's gender specific.
Well, of course, there's outliers, but I feel like guys, especially in their 30s, tend to be like, when I read this, the fact that he's got friends that are mean to him is crappy, but also like not, I don't think it's atypical. Like,
No.
I think it's very common because when you're that age, you're like in this weird place of still being kind of young. So you have these friends that you've kind of carried over into your 30s, and some of them are, you change as people, and if you don't change your friends, then they're gonna only see you in that little snapshot thing, and then what do? And then you go make new friends, and then I imagine what's happening for him is he does feel seen by this neighbor, and he's like and excited, it's very pure.
Yeah, and it's addictive when someone treats you like a friend and treats you like an equal and shows interest in you and isn't mean or taking advantage of you. Then of course that attention and that energy your husband's probably responding to, because it's like a dopamine or serotonin, that it's like, these are good feelings I'm getting. Someone thinks I'm interesting. And I know from a very, as an insecure human being, that if someone that I think is cool takes interest in me, I'm like obsessed with that person then. But I think it's really great, and it is interesting that you're having a hard time communicating these feelings. I think it's probably because it can be a little embarrassing to be like, I mean, we're good, and like I think it's so cool that you're making friends, and I don't really fit in, and so I feel a little insecure or less than, and so admitting that adds to it. But I think that you guys could push right through this in a great way by being like, hi, husband, this is really, I feel like a dork, but I'm jealous of you hanging out with these new friends. I don't want you to stop doing it. I just need to tell you that I feel a little jealous. And if we could carve out more specific time for us where I get my needs met by you and then you can go hang out with your friends. I also just need you to tell me that I'm number one. And then you can go play with your friends.
Yeah, like, you still like me, right?
Right. I'm still number one,
I'm still your
right?
best friend.
I'm not getting slowly pushed out, right? Like
I also, if I was this guy and I heard this email, I would be like, hold on. I went from in this pandemic having friends who were kind of jerks to me to not only meeting our cool neighbors and getting to like have fun, smoke, drink, do whatever you're doing. I also
mini golf and smoking.
Mini golf and
like
smoking.
A couple
I mean,
of dudes.
it's like the quintessential. Yeah, it's what
That's
you do.
what all teenage boys think adulthood is: mini golf in the middle of the day and smoking on the porch.
Yep. And sitting in lawn chairs. Yeah. But I would, if I read this, or if like you read it to your partner, I would be like, not only did I get a new best friend, I've found my worth in realizing that my other friends are mean to me, but also my wife thinks I'm so cool that she wants to hang out with me more.
Oh, is this a husband or a wife?
Husband and wife, I think.
I thought this was two men that were married because you gave a name that sounded, I guess I gendered your fake name. So I thought it was a set of husbands that met their neighbors that are two guys.
No.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Goobercorn is a female.
Doesn't change my answer still. Is that you feel a little insecure, but yeah, as long as I know for myself, I just need to know that, like, I'm still number one. Mm-hmm. I'm still your best friend.
You take that well. I would take that well. I'd be like, yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, you want me too? Oh, I must be the most popular kid in school right now.
It's so cute. It's wonderful. So, what? You have any more thoughts on that?
No, I think that it's gonna. Sorry, my only thoughts are just malfunctioning. I think it's going to be a little uncomfortable, and you have to eat a little humble pie to be able to say that I'm a little jealous of this, and I'm not forcing these feelings. They're just here, and it's only going to be good because you're basically admitting that you want to see your husband more, which in these times, you guys could, one, meet your neighbors and they could be fucking awful and you're in the same proximity as them, and then two, you could love and wish that your husband hung out more with them and got out of your hair. So this is a win-win problem, I think.
Yeah.
Your husband's cool, making good friends, and you love your husband so much that you get a little jealous when he hangs out with his cool new friends.
I love, too, that there's no mention of the other wife, and that's the neighbor wife. They're couple friends, which is another thing. It's hard to find couple friends where both of the partners are like, it's a group of four, and it's hard for the guy to like the guy and the girl like the girl.
What do you think?
Is this the Goobercorn thing?
I thought it was two guys that were their neighbors.
No, it's a
Oh, because I thought they were all gay from the beginning. So I thought it was a group of
That's our new
men.
title of the podcast. Gay from the beginning.
No, I thought it was two guy neighbors that your husband met.
Well, let's go back to the record.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I have trouble reading, hearing things and retaining them. So we'll see how this system works for us in the future. I need to look at it and read it.
Yeah, there's no clarification. It doesn't. I kind of like you being in the dark.
So it doesn't tell you if there's. I thought it was two guys that were their neighbors.
Since the pandemic started, my husband and I began to befriend some of our neighbors. We don't know if that means the same house or it could be neighbors from all over. We often spend our nights out in the lawn drinking and socializing together. It sounds like two couples to me. It's been really great for our mental health.
How does that sound like two couples?
I just imagine it, and there it is.
See, we're filling in the blanks when there's not enough detail.
I see it in my mind.
It still doesn't change what I would advise.
Yeah, I hope the majority of these are just you trying to figure out.
It's just now I have 10,000 follow-up questions before I give advice for everyone.
I think that it's two couples, but maybe it's just a single guy.
Well, they're playing mini golf during the day. I thought it was like two bro dudes that they lived next to that he was getting along with.
I don't know where you got that.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I assume it's
Anyway.
the nuclear.
Mini golf during the day. I didn't even know mini golf courses were open. That's the only piece of information I did remember is mini golf during the day.
Yeah, we should do. Have we had any? We've had jealous conversations about me hanging out or you hanging out, where you'll go.
I think.
Like yesterday, you were a little upset that you were going to hold off on watching Married at First Sight Australia. I'm not trying to
as
throw
a
you.
joke. Yeah, we haven't watched Married at First Sight Australia because you went and hung out with a couple friends last night.
So,
which was nice to have space, but then after a few hours goes by, it's like, okay, ready for you to come home and hang out.
Yeah, and I scared the crap out of you.
Yeah, you did. You come home too quietly.
You look like...
I was watching Glow Up Season 2, highly recommend on Netflix, in my final form as a glowworm in bed, just high as a kite, having the best moment ever, and then you walked in through the shadows and scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, you were the blanket was up to like
up
here.
to my nose. I was in my little nighttime cocoon, and I was ready to burst into a butterfly this morning, and it was disrupted. My metamorphosis was disrupted.
Metaphorical metamorphosis.
What's the next question?
Well, we're gonna go a little darker now. You ready for a little darker?
Ready for the next one.
This is from a female.
Okay, got it.
Oh, hi. So everyone knows 2020 is the year that just gets worse. And let me tell you, girl, for me, that is no lie. I feel like it's a year when really you feel guilty complaining about things in your life that don't have to do with all the racial injustices and other various topics hitting the news headlines. Isn't that interesting? That's a whole topic. Alas, 2020 continues to do me dirty. Basically, I've been already in a shit situation because I took a job relocation offer and moved 3 hours away from my family and friends. And man, I had been finally getting somewhere with after literal years of jumping around the idea of us being something. We actually continued to see each other long distance.
Wait. Back up. Sorry, I'm already losing information of this. What happened?
I'll slow down.
Yeah, they were in a relationship and they accepted a job offer away from family and friends?
She, on her own, did that. And then a man that she had been finally getting somewhere with after literal years of jumping around the idea of them us being something. They continued to see each other long distance, but that came to a screeching halt thanks to COVID. So she took a relocation job. She moves 3 hours away from her family, and then she's like, she's finally seeing this guy. They've been dancing around.
Seeing a guy that's back where her family's from?
I believe so, because that would have made it then long distance. We actually continued to see each other long distance, but that came to a screeching halt thanks to COVID. Clearly, things have cooled the F down with that, and now I'm moving back home in 2 days.
Wow.
Things seem to be over with him. Oh, and my work life. 2-year contract is ending, and actually thankful for this because it was a toxic work environment for me.
Great,
because my bosses turned out to be pretty horrible people and literally said my work-related injury to my hand/forearm was due to my obesity. Going so far as to include that in official documents sent into the for my claim, WSIB. So yes, I'm 36 years old, single, soon to be jobless, and moving into my parents' basement in 2 days. What the actual F do I do? Emoji. Great emoji uses. Any idea or advice or general acknowledgement would be a GD delight. So
cool. Wow. Okay. First of all, when I hear someone moving into a basement having a bad time, I refer you directly and aggressively to Michael Buckley, who is thriving in his best life. If you don't know him, he's an OG YouTuber, now a wonderful life coach, and he was married for years and years and years, lived in a beautiful giant house in Connecticut. He got a divorce a few years ago, sold all of his possessions and his house, and now lives in his twin sister's basement in Denver and is truly living his best life, fullest form. Talk about metamorphosis. He is thriving. So I think the cliche of living in your parents' basement can be broken. It can be completely changed and redefined.
We're living in different times now.
Yeah, we're living in times where you have to be resourceful and you have to be smart. And I think living within your means and living in a situation that allows you to save your money financially is an incredibly smart thing for you to do. So pat yourself on the back for being a GD grown-up right now and taking all of the necessary responsibilities that you can take.
Yeah, you're doing what you gotta do.
Yeah.
What you do, you gotta do.
And congratulations on, even though it was not what seemed like an appropriate way for it to happen, but you got out of working with toxic bosses.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Later.
So even if the universe separated you in a messy way, at least the separation has happened.
Yes, it's done. It's final. It's going to be, well, it's soon to be final. Similar to how Grace will point you to Michael Buckley, I will point you to Bill Burr, the Michael Buckley of stand-up comedians.
Stand-up comedian. You might know him from The Mandalorian.
And Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
That one episode of The
Mandalorian.
Bill Burr says, realize that sleeping on a futon when you're 30 is not the worst thing. You know what's worse? Sleeping in a king bed next to a wife you're not really in love with, but for some reason you married and you got a couple kids and you got a job you hate. You'll be laying there fantasizing about sleeping on a futon. There's no risk when you go after a dream. There's a tremendous amount of risk in playing it safe. I don't know that you're necessarily... Great job, Bill. I don't know that you're necessarily going after a dream, but my goodness, imagine if none of that had happened. You're still at that crappy job, getting injured, then blaming it on whatever the F, and then publicly putting it out there. And you know you're not supposed to be doing that. If you're dancing around issues with this guy and it seems to be final, and he's not he's not into it, you're not into it, done.
If you're not into it, great. But also, if you're going back home and you're kind of into it, and now the distance thing is no longer a problem or an obstacle, it's worth exploring. But also, if that guy sucks, he sucks. It seems to be the theme is cut it out of your life. Use your parents' basement as a little incubation chamber for the next best version of yourself. The cool thing is right now that I try to remind myself whenever I feel down on a regular basis about, stifled creativity or lack of productivity, is that the whole world is doing this right now. It's not like the world is progressing and you're left behind. We're all kind of in this stuck spot right now, so no one's leaping forward. So take this time to your advantage and recharge your batteries, rethink your life journey or goals or paths, and get to work.
Isn't it amazing too, though? And this is not, I don't mean to be like I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but it is those days when you feel worthless,
You can't really.
You just gotta go with it.
You can feel obviously terrible about the state of the world and the different ways it's affecting all of us. But I have this huge. I get very stressed out, very anxious when I feel left behind. Mm-hmm. Like even at conventions for things, if everyone's checked out of the hotel before me, I start panicking. Like I hate the physical and metaphorical feeling of being left behind. And so right now,
I would wait.
No one's charging forward. So that feeling, anytime it comes up, I have to remind myself, you're exactly where you need to be.
Yeah.
As long as you keep doing a little bit every day, the things that you want to do, and not just let yourself wallow in your pity bed.
Yep.
Then you'll be okay. And I think take this as a blessing in a way. It's easier said than done, but make that basement look super cute. Get some cute DIYs. Go on your Instagram Explore page. Set yourself up for success. If you're going to be in your parents' basement, make it an environment that you love.
And I would add, and you don't have to take this advice at all. This might be horrible advice.
Great.
But I think you should do everything that Grace just said. But right before that, you should go into that basement, sit down, look around, and allow...
With a black light.
Yeah, check everything. Allow the feeling of all the bad feelings to just wreck you.
Get a good cry. Do a little... they have new moon ceremonies where you set intentions and you release...
No.
They do.
What?
You set intentions like new moon. You set intentions, or that you burn old things that weren't serving you. Do a little ceremony for yourself. Go down there, put some Adele or whatever makes you cry on, and just sort of indulge in all the bad that you feel, like Elliot said. Maybe write down some things that feelings that you constantly feel that are negative and toxic for you. Burn them safely or throw them away.
That's nice.
Yeah, get them out of there, but write them down because they're in your head. Get them out of there, and then write some things that like even Buck says this is very cheesy and cliche, but it's like, how can I like and love myself more today? Which when you actually do that, and this is coming from a girl that loves sarcasm and woo-woo stuff makes me cringe a little bit. When you really do that, it can do something for you. There's something to that self-help woo-woo bullshit.
I know there must be because
Also get some sage.
boy,
Sage the room. A brand new, fresh day. Have a whole like
piss in the corner.
claim your territory. There's so many.
Piss the bed a little bit.
Yeah, there's so many options.
Yeah.
I feel like I have lots of friends that have moved home or moved to situations that serve them better in these weird times. And so I don't think there's any shame in it. I think we all have to go, shame is such a obvious feeling to have. What would be cooler is not feeling that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
That was beautiful.
I'm excited for this person. I think this is a great new start for you, even though it's a clunky way to get there.
And you know what? I've had to, at times, ask for help. And it hurts. It hurts as a adult to do. But, man, sometimes it's the best thing because you
have to admit that you're not perfect.
Right. And then you learn. It's all, all of the things. Isn't that funny? All the little cliches, they're all right.
They're cliches for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, listen.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the name of this person, but I'm 100% going to say the name of their dog.
Okay.
This is a female.
Okay. It doesn't matter. You don't know that for sure. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. So I've had my dog, Chewbacca,
Great. Mm-hmm.
for about 3 years. He's a Yorkie poo, and he's very much a people pup rather than a doggy pup.
Uh-huh.
Chewie has been living his best life with me and my husband being at home quarantining. However, we both have to go back to work soon. Tragic, I know. I'm writing because we're thinking about getting another dog so Chewie will have a friend. Is this a good idea? What if they hate each other? Or even worse, what if they like each other more than they like me? And advice helps, even if it's dumb. But real quick,
that picture.
Come on. We gotta put it
Chewbacca.
on the screen, but just in case those little
Chewbacca
preview.
is gonna love.
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca's gonna get along with anything that comes in its path.
Chewbacca is one of those dogs I would yell at
Because
out
it's
of my
too
car.
cute.
I will go,
It's
hey,
illegal to be that cute.
he's committing some crimes.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about this one, Grace?
I mean, you studied zoology and worked in
I do
veterinary.
have an honest answer. I have a
So
non-charming answer.
I defer to you.
Yeah, definitely get another dog. For sure. They will get along, and they will actually help train each other. And, yeah, your dog's probably gotten hyper-codependent on you guys since quarantine. And
Yeah.
It's going to be a adjustment for everybody, but a new dog will distract them, and dogs are so quick to adjust to new environments and to new things that Chewie will do. I mean, look at that face. That's
Oh, my God. And when you get two of them, I think he's going to love the other dog more than me. He's going to go out the window immediately because you're going to have double trouble. You're going to have two little things. What if the new dog loves you more than it loves Chewbacca? Ever thought about that wonderful problem that you might come across?
No, you didn't because you're selfish.
Yeah, this little guy, I think you can only bring more joy into your life with another one. And yeah, like you said, it's an opportunity for the dog to have a friend when you guys leave it. And so it doesn't have to experience the trauma.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, how
I just
lovely.
wanted to show you Chewie.
A photo of a dog. I love it. That's very cute.
All right, we're going to end on one more, and then
Sure.
we'll call it a quits.
Well, then we got to talk about the thing that we started this whole podcast about. Or do you just not, is this a passive-aggressive way of you not wanting to talk
As long
about
as I do want to talk, because I feel like I just don't really remember.
Yeah, I'll have to remember the episode.
Yeah. We'll blow through this one, and we're going to talk about, we're definitely going to talk about those.
Well, we're burning minutes here. We're at a half hour already.
All right, this is a quick one.
Okay.
This is from a female.
You don't know that. Okay.
The title says it all. The title says, "Too many project, can't finish one." Hi, Elliot and Grace, longtime listener and fan of you both. I'm horrible with starting projects and never finishing them, and then seeing something else and starting something new again that I will most definitely not finish. How can I get the motivation to tackle these projects? What does it say about me as a person that I can't finish these amazing projects and that I have so much
You're
support for? You're
worthless.
the worthless. Piss in the corner. But the more support I get for them, the more anxious I am to work on it. Why can't I just start and finish? It would feel so good, I'm sure. Sincerely, all bang, no buck is what this person signed on.
All bang, no buck. Wow. Yeah, that's a fear of success, big time.
Yeah, and some people have shiny new object syndrome. I get that.
Yeah.
So I can relate.
Yeah. I think if you have, I mean, it's very interesting that when people support you more in a project, you're more likely to abandon it.
That's
like a
interesting.
fear of success. It's your fear of disappointing people, and people can never be disappointed if they never have a final project to experience. Mm-hmm. So you're constantly skating by, which is fine, but clearly not if you're writing to these two dipshits about it.
I know. You've hit rock bottom.
I think, yeah, this happens. I mean, with me, you'll walk into the house and I'll have 17 different things started and none of them finished.
Yeah, but you're pretty good at, you get it done.
Occasionally. Accountability is huge, is what I've learned in my adult world in general, that for so many things, accountability is huge, especially projects. So if there is someone that you trust, this might be worth trying. If there's someone that you trust that won't judge you but will gently encourage you, that can hold you accountable for when you decide you're going to finish a project, that could be an option of something to do.
I zoned out. What did you say?
Great.
What was the last part?
I said that, like, an accountability buddy. If there's someone that you trust that won't judge you, but instead, like, hold you gently accountable for finishing a project at a certain time that you've decided you want to finish it, then that's worth exploring.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, Grace. I also wonder if, at least I do this. I don't know if it's the same thing that this person's experiencing, but I'll sometimes tell someone about an idea or a project, and the support I get from them is sort of like
enough.
It's a fast food version of the satisfaction I get from actually doing it. It's like, oh, you like it? Okay, cool. And then when it comes time to actually do it, it's like, oh, if I don't do it, then I can't be disappointed that I can't disappoint them. And plus, who cares? Because they already know that I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm not doing it for their approval anymore. So it's kind of like I would say there's a benefit that I've learned in staying very silent about things that you're working on.
Oh, keeping it close to the vest.
Yeah, so accountability is one thing, but also just being like, make a list for yourself, see if you can do little things, little step-by-step things, and then when it's done, then go get that support. What do you want?
It's machines.
Oh gosh.
I also think finishing things is like conditioning yourself. If you're someone that is a serial non-finisher, obviously you're really good at not finishing things. So you haven't challenged yourself to be good at finishing, and you've probably told yourself that you're not good at finishing, but you don't know that. That's not true because you've never tried to do that.
Yep.
You keep doing the thing that you're good at, which is starting, but you haven't tried to do this other thing, which is finishing. And I think you could also, if you need to, because this is all like the discovering the best way in which you work, you can give yourself the ground rules that you're not allowed to start another project until you finish one, like one in, one out. Like you can have a reward system for yourself where if there's something you're so excited to do, you're not allowed to do it unless you finish one thing. I also think just the real basic stuff, and I do this on a regular basis, is write to-do lists down, because the physical satisfaction I get from checking off something on my to-do list is so pure and simple and lovely. Like I'll put walk goose on my to-do list every day just so I have something that feels good to like check off.
I know.
That reinforces that I can check things off of a list and helps condition the idea that I can get things done. Yep. That said, I will have the same thing on my to-do list for 7 days straight. That would probably take me like 20 minutes to just sit down and do, and I won't do it.
Yeah.
And I don't really know for myself what exactly that is. There's all those memes about how like if you did everything on your to-do list, you'd be done in an hour. And then what would you do if you didn't have the endless hours of constant anxiety about having to do something?
Yeah.
That's my problem, is that I'm too conditioned to love the anxiety about potentially getting something done that I never get something done. Yeah. And I gotta shake that off. I'm a grown-up.
It's the suffering. You enjoy the suffering.
I guess so. I just know the feeling is so familiar, and finishing something is so unfamiliar, and we're all scared of things we don't know, so I unconsciously avoid it. No, consciously avoid it.
Phantos. It's death drive.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's a great answer, Grace. That was wonderful.
did you zone out?
No, and I only zoned out a little bit on that last one. I liked it.
You're the one that wanted to do all this advice.
I think it's fun, but also let us
do
know what y'all think, and feel free to change any names and give as many details as you want. Make it as fun for everyone to
And
enjoy.
please don't give us your genders. I don't want to put that out there as a thing.
Or
whatever. Whatever. You guys make the rules.
Say whatever
This
you
is
want.
an Outback Steakhouse.
I love the photo of the dog.
I know you're
thinking
still
about.
stuck on the dog photo.
Chewie was just really a good dog. She was a good dog. Yeah, I think that's wonderful. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think I've been doing the to-do list thing. I put things not to do as well. A
that's
checkbox that
interesting.
says, "Don't junk food." Don't eat
Oh
junk
yeah,
food
he's
after
trying
that.
not to eat junk food.
After a certain
And you're
time
doing
of
a great
day.
job.
Well, I was talking to my friends, humble brag, about this last night, where I was like, I in quarantine have gotten into a habit, especially at night, a little bit of marijuana, and then the ice cream just ends up in my body, and I was like, I can't. Apparently, you can't eat ice cream like constantly, so I've had to make a to-do list, and I've done okay with
It's
it.
something that you learn.
It's something that you learn.
Oh, just to add one more thing on that, I also think because sometimes I don't finish projects because there's a little bit of fear that when I finish it, it'll be done. I don't have it in my world anymore. But that's not true because the satisfaction of having a complete project that you could show people or utilize whatever it might be as a project still keeps it in your world. I think there's a little bit of like, if this is done, it goes away. That's not true. If it's done, you get to enjoy it for exactly what you set out to make it for.
Yep. And you get to then go on to the next one that you have anxiety about.
Mm-hmm. What fun. What fun.
What fun. Grace, how are you? What's going through your brain right now?
Well, do you want to talk about some Married at First Sight, some maths, talking about anxiety and not finishing what you started? I think that's pretty thematic of Married at First Sight. I'm trying to remember what happened on this episode. They're still on their honeymoon, and they all seem still in line with what we kind of have seen them as. Christina and Henry still feel like two animatronics that are malfunctioning.
You know what I think I realized? Speaking of anxiety and things that you have to do on a to-do list, talking about Henry is not something I wanted. That's not a box I want to check off.
Yeah.
That man should not be on TV. Someone needs to fly in a helicopter and rescue him.
They're trying their best, but you can see that he is just counting down the hours until he gets to go back to the place that he's familiar with, home. That being in a new environment with a new person and a new television show that you're part of, adapting is not, I don't think, Henry's strong suit.
When they go into quarantine, which they do in this, oh my gosh.
He might thrive. Like that might be where we see him as his true self.
What if he bursts into the living
He's a
room
full
wearing
phoenix.
fun clothes?
He's risen from his ashes, and it's like his time to shine. He becomes the most dynamic and interesting reality show person we've ever seen.
It's gonna be like that TikTok that you showed me a million times of the Carly Rae Jepsen song with the guy with the wigs flying off. It's gonna be like that.
Yeah, a little bit. But she also seems like they're starting to hint and show that she's having some issues with production. Like she's getting a little ornery when they're asking her to ask more questions and things like that. It also just kind of sucked a little bit this episode that they did show her getting mad at production, and they just like really pulled the curtain back and showed that production just feeds them questions when they're sitting at the table with each other.
Which you
assume, but you
don't
hate to see it because it really takes the magic away.
It really does, because you can suspend your beliefs that some actual human being in the middle of lunch would be like, so do you have any fears about having kids?
Yeah.
You're like, no, you didn't. That's not how you start that conversation. But they're doing.
We'll see. But they also talked about how she's never dated a guy that wasn't the aggressor, and Henry's clearly not. So she's kind of, and I get it. Like she's kind of pissed off that she's gonna have to be the aggressor, and that's not what she's into.
Yeah.
But she seems like she's gonna try. Uh-oh. That sounds like a thinking groan.
I think that they do this thing in reality TV where they distill the issue to a soundbite, and they then harp on that soundbite as a way of reducing the gravity of the incompatibility of these two people into something that can be a through line and a story arc.
Yeah.
I get why they do it. part of the thing. This is not an issue of this man not being an aggressor. This man he's not doing well, and he shouldn't be on TV. This is beyond aggressive. This is incompatibility, fundamental incompatibility.
Well, he's also incompatible with being a person on a reality television show.
And nature and water.
Yeah.
And also they're at this place, y'all. It's like a honeymoon place, but
it's like a full adult theme park resort. It feels like.
And it looks awesome. I want to go very badly.
It looks fun.
But the things that they're doing are all in pools. Like they look like they're in oceans, but they're in pools. Or they'll do dune buggy things, but it's on a pre-made kind of track, so it's all built into the resort. Very smart for liability purposes. Yeah. Also very easy to navigate. Very easy.
And also very easy to shoot. They basically have like 4 setups at this hotel that they keep shooting within. That's why I'd be curious to see this hotel in person to see like, oh,
I looked it up. Yeah.
There's only these 4 spots that they keep shooting in. I see.
You can get the whole pack. I
don't think he's a go to Mexico for a honeymoon type of guy at all, TV show or not.
Yeah.
I think he's like, have a sensible dinner and watch a Netflix program for a honeymoon.
What?
Okay, wait, what?
I was going to say, I just want to talk about how lovely, what's her name is?
Woody and Amani?
Yeah.
Woody and Amani are great. The only problem that they're having is they're getting a little in their heads wondering why they're doing so well and what's going to happen to make it potentially go bad.
And she's just the funniest.
Oh, she's the loveliest. They struck gold by finding her. She's so... I love that her expressions and her reactions to the rest of the crew, because they have them like hang out with the other couples a lot, is just... It's so representative of the audience. She's a real person, and she's exactly herself all the time.
She got into my heart when it was one of the early episodes, and her new husband is brushing his teeth really hard, and she was like, "That's how you brush your teeth, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "It sounds devastating for your teeth."
She's so funny. I think she's fantastic.
Devastating.
I know. The other people that are also not surprisingly doing great are Bennett and Amelia.
Yeah.
They're doing wonderful. They're 2 little funky weirdos that you can tell the people that are bothered by the shooting process already that it's like grating on them, like Christina and Henry. But Bennett and Amelia feel like they're very say yes kind of people, obviously. And so they're fun to watch because they're enjoying each other's company and totally fine with the filming process.
Oh, yeah. Yes-anding, performing. You can tell they probably made friends with the production crew.
Totally.
So they're always like, "What do you want? You want us to talk about?" "Okay, got it." And 2, 3. And then they do their little scenes.
Yeah.
It's great.
And then suddenly he's in a dress and he's going to bed.
What's your thoughts on Brett right now? I figured it out.
Oh, okay. Then we have Brett and Olivia.
I figured Brett out.
You figured Brett out? Okay,
Yeah.
Well, I love Olivia. I think, like Amani, she's just herself, and she's so lovely, and she's really fun to watch, and I root for her, and I was hoping maybe that, like, Brett was putting on this kind of sarcastic, showy facade, and that he would be a little bit more real with her. But it doesn't really. It seems like there's some stress.
He falls back into it, I think, as a defense mechanism for sure, because it happens. He turns into the sarcastic guy a lot when he's around more and more people.
Yeah.
Like the more people that are around, the more sort of he's like doing that sarcasm where you just say the opposite of what you would say, and doesn't really have any kind of grounding in anything funny at all. But he's got Republican energy. He's got hardcore.
Yeah.
That's was my big. I was like, oh, he's like hardcore. I don't know if he's a Republican.
You don't
at
know
all.
that, but
he might not be. But I would bet $1,000 he's a Republican, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
You don't think he's a Bernie bro?
No.
Okay.
Maybe I do mean a bad way in the same way that I would say if a Democratic person may be more indicative of, say.
Well, go ahead.
I don't know. I didn't have anywhere to go with that.
Perfect. Then I'll take it from here. I'll take the baton. I think that he had a moment where they were very casually all hanging out with each other, and the girls went off to talk and the guys were talking, and they were clearly fed this question by producers to ask each other on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate your marriage at this point? Dumb. And he reacted, I didn't think this would happen, but he was so put off by the question that he thinks it's dehumanizing to put a number and to rate a marriage in that way. So he refused to rate the marriage, and then just cuts to Olivia being like, I think a 7. I think we're at a good 7.
That's a really good impression.
And then he overheard her, and then he was all bothered and pouty.
7 is a D, is what he said.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear that. Well, who cares what the 7 means? It's if you care so much just about rating in general.
He's got that like thing of like, I'm gonna take a stand about this thing that is like just give a number. Who gives a shit? Like, just it's the.
Well, Bennett also started the conversation by being like, I don't agree with this. I'm just gonna say 10, and we don't need to to have any more discussion after that.
And that's how you do it.
He said yes, and he also said that he doesn't think that this is a valid thing to do.
Yep. Like,
it was great. And then Brett did his version of that, which was way less.
Well, you can't. How could you possibly? It's so debated to
Yeah.
rate two people when it's
It
the
just,
relationship.
It sucked the wind out of all of the like lightheartedness about it. And then he and Olivia got into like a fight. I forget exactly what they were talking about, but she had to take a moment because she was like, it's not just this show. Like when we go back, like I'm in this. This is like marriage for me. I'm
Yeah.
taking this seriously. And I forget exactly why.
It was something about what they were gonna do when they get back, and he was
Yeah.
like, "We're gonna move in."
Oh yeah, he's like,
And
we're
she
just gonna
kinda-
move in. Oh, and then he was just giving her like one-word answers, and he was clearly bothered, but he wasn't communicating with her. And she kept being like, "You can please just tell me." Like she was so perfect at being like, "Please just tell me exactly what's bothering you, so I can know, because otherwise I don't know, and I would just love to help figure this out." Like she's not yelling, she wasn't calling him names or anything, but she was like, "You are clearly upset, and I need to know." And I'm not going to get mad at you when you tell me, please, this is a safe space. And you're just a pouty little boy.
I know a lot of y'all don't watch the show, but imagine this dude being like, there's a close-up happening when he overheard her say the number, and like the look on his face literally was like just very like devastation right under the surface, like trying his best to hold it, just
Keep it together.
because she said 7 because
Which is great at that point.
You
You're
got
only
me-
6
yeah.
days into a marriage or something.
in a reality TV show.
Yeah. And then the last couple, Miles and Karen, 2 sweethearts, but he did open up and tell her that he battles clinical depression and that this is a big thing for him. I thought it was really cool of him to tell her off the bat about that, something super vulnerable. And he's doing it not in a way, at least it didn't seem in a way to be like, look at me, I have this thing, and like as a crutch in a way. He's just using it to like be closer with her. He clearly is into her, and
Yes.
he just wants to like tell her up front, hey, I will have different moods and different moments. And she was super sweet about it, but you can also see like the beginning of her thinking, oh, I want like an alpha male kind of guy, and he's a little bit more in touch with his feelings than what I'm used to, and I don't know how to like support this.
What do you think about that? I looked on Twitter and people are kind of lighting her on fire a little bit.
Yeah, I feel for her and him. I think there is something to the fact that you can't deny like the type of energy you're attracted to from a person. You can be 100% sympathetic and nurturing to someone, but you also can't, necessarily manifest like an artificial feeling for someone, because on a, societal level, that's the human compassionate thing to do.
Yeah.
But for yourself, at some point, you do have to be honest that like, I'm not turned on in certain ways. You're not turned on by everyone, right?
It's a sexual
so like,
thing. You can't be.
yeah, that if she's having a disconnect with it, I think there's obviously it's just the beginning, and I think the problem with this show a lot of times is that people see their partner as a certain type that they've been paired with, and so they box them in.
Yep.
So I'm worried for her sake that she's putting walls up and not going to allow herself to potentially grow with this person and see that she really likes him. But that said, they might not be compatible, like might not be a match. Like I could see them being friends really at the end of this, and it not being that big of a deal, because I can't tell if he's actually falling in love with her or if he's falling in love with this idea of the show and being paired with someone, and she's perfectly beautiful and pleasant for him.
Yep.
But I don't necessarily
She could be
see
anybody.
Exactly. I don't see him falling in love with Karen as Karen, because I don't think she's really being herself totally on the show yet.
Yeah, this is interesting.
But I'm curious about it.
I'm very curious because we live in like a society where, oh god, that's but in today's era, it is good men. There's more of a focus, I think, being put on them to share their feelings, be more introspective, work through things, grow.
And that's great.
Wonderful. However, it doesn't mean that that's going to be found attractive by people inherently. And if she's not super into it because she doesn't want
I think there's a friendship there. I don't know that there's sexual attraction there, at least on her side yet.
I also wonder if there's something to like, so you're a dude, and if clearly he's an introspective person, so his attention is inward a little bit, it seems like, because he's constantly kind of talking about his feelings, which means you're focusing on your feelings. I can understand as a female how or a partner in that relationship not feeling seen because the person's attention is constantly go on there. Like, did you know that this about me and this about me? And it's like, you're not even
asking anything about me.
Yeah, it's all about what you're going through, and I can totally see being like, no, this isn't working for me. I want someone who's got there.
Oh, that's interesting.
He might just be on an arc where he's figuring himself out a little bit, that stage of life, and he might not be emotionally or ready to have a kind of loving relationship where he's got the energy to focus on somebody.
Yeah, he's a lot younger than her, I guess. I don't know their exact age difference, but he's younger because they make jokes about her being a cougar. And he's also said that he's been in like 10 relationships, 10 serious adult relationships in his life, but he's 26, I think, or something.
Yeah.
So if I did the math, and if you're in a serious relationship, let's say less than a year, or around the year mark, which to me seems like a serious relationship, that means that he's had a relationship every single year since he was 16 years old. And that, can you imagine being a Facebook friend whose status changes once a year to dating a new person? There'd be a little bit of red flags around that. And I think that caught her off guard. And seems to be a more introspective, like she's quieter about her assessment of people, but you can see her like internalizing those kind of things.
For good reason. She's picking up on it. And also 10 serious relationships to him.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
I would like to talk to all these ex-girlfriends and be like, was he kind of maybe really too into you and too into his feelings?
But that also begs, like, is he so used to this beginning of relationship routine that he's going through his checklist of everything that he does in the beginning of a relationship to be a good boyfriend? Like, he's done this 10 times.
Consciously? Like aware
unconsciously,
of it?
no. I think that he's in his phase. If he's done this 10 times, he knows exactly how good it is in the beginning and like how to do it. So that can seem a little disingenuous.
He might be overly influenced currently by his anima, which is going to manifest in a hyper emotional state, and so.
Well, I can't wait to watch.
Crap.
There he goes. He commits to the bit. Anyway, that's kind of this episode. It was a little slow, but now I guess the next episode is them going back home. So maybe we'll see the real Henry come out. Who knows? Or we've already seen the real Henry come out.
I love that you really were like, we're going to talk about Married at First Sight.
This is my strong suit, is recapping a reality show and talking way too in-depth and way too analytical about every small, overly produced moment of it.
What if it was this? Whatever. We don't have anything else to do.
Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this and this new testing out of giving some advice and helping any of you out there that have any situations that you'd like some stranger friends' opinions on. Again, if you feel so inclined, email us at pilotonpodcast@gmail.com, and I will be up for the challenge next week of choosing a few that we will talk about.
Good luck.
Thank you. I know. And I can't be swayed by only photos of dogs, mind you.
And I can't either. So that has to happen organically. Don't start coming at me with a bunch of...
But they are appreciated.
They are appreciated every time. And I will look at them and I will enjoy them. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean it's going to be...
Well, on that note,
Bye.
see ya.